broadcasters Falcon and HD Philby.
Thank you so much, Lance and the desk. It's Billy and Falcon here to guide you through the winners bracket round 5. Falcon, some two different ideologies between these compositions. Team Immune going for heavy team fight, while the VennyVensManyMens going for that pink composition.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting game, and it's going to be a case of who gains the momentum in this early game, who can start the ball rolling. If VennyVensManyMens can get that lead, especially on the likes of the Argus, and get a position to start using those picks, to start using those Dread Novas, those rocks, to make sure the numbers are always in their favor, then they can definitely run away with this game. But, I mean, we saw the last set. I was watching backstage. I saw Immune decimate the side of Sins with a team fighting composition with a lot of these picks. So you can never count those out.
Absolutely not. And especially with this pick composition from VennyVens, how are they going to engage in some of these objective fights with the Fangtooth and the Orb Prime, right? When you have so many ultimate abilities from Team Immune to just shut you down. So they're going to have to play very carefully, especially this Crunch and Countess, about who they target moving forward. Falcon, there's only one thing left to do, man, and it's get into the action.
That it is. What a lovely stinger, as always. I love it so many times every time I watch it. And now we are into game, and the first thing that I want to mention, it is in fact that Rampage support, as Desk was saying, has that rock augmented, increases the rock damage. It's probably going to be the most helpful in that stage. Mini Rampage is not going to be as much of a threat when you are very much in a golden deficit compared to the enemy team. But I don't really know how it's going to go in lane. Obviously, both supports are going to be very tanky. Both of these ADCs don't really have the best wave clear in the game. They are going to be mainly just focusing down those minions until they get those first items online. So it might just be a slightly boring dual lane. But what I want to focus is on this off lane.
Yeah, I mean, the Countess versus the Greystone, we've seen this time and time again. It can go either way. The Countess wants to really, accelerate into this matchup. But I think what you want to talk about, Falcon, is the two players piloting those champions.
Yeah, Morose and Bondroid, probably the best two offlaners in EU. Both of them have been around in the NA scene as well. Bondroid being the last PCC champion with Team Leftovers. So very, very strong. Both of them are able to carry it. Already we can see how much of an important lane this is. Conte ganking level 2. Whiplash hits. The oath hit is going to be from Morose. I don't know if there's a blink followed. It is going to be blinked. Blink. It's going to be used by Conte as well. He's going to try and use his movement speed to try and run him down, and eventually will get that first blood. Conte is going to spend a long time doing it, but that is the first blood towards Team Immune.
And that is a big first blood, especially onto the Countess. That gives the Greystone a little bit of license there. We do have a jungle invade happening right now. The Crunch recognizing that Conte is really low, but that has to expend the blink to get out of there. A good rotation from the mid lane. A Whiplash, even better. The Ether Crystal to keep everybody locked in. And it is Mayor to get a rebuttal kill onto Conte, but the bloodbath is still going. Almost Manq falling there on the Gideon, but it is Morose who takes down Ben. Oh my gosh, Falcon, 2 minutes into the game, we've got many kills on the board.
Well, this doesn't look like an EU game at all, but I am definitely for it. And that happened because of how long it took to kill Bondroid. Then finished his red side jungle, got that gank into mid lane, had the prio with Maya there, and was able to invade onto the 2 camp, which hadn't been started by Conte yet. Had the level lead as well, level 3, level 2. That's why he got that early game killed. Luckily for Team Immune, Morose was still around, was able to rotate, albeit slowly, because he went through the river instead of his own jungle, and got a 1-for-1 trade at the end of it. Now, both junglers are going back to their blue side. Ven still has got the lead, did get at least a few of those 2 camp on the side of Team Immune. So, I mean, it's a good start for this Crunch.
Yeah, absolutely. Something that, I want to point out is Conte on the Richter, one of his favorite characters, but it's feast or famine. Right now, though, he's 2 for 2 on those Whiplashes, connecting and finding eliminations for his squad. Those 2 you see on the board there, folks, are because of that displacement ability. You see him kind of lurking on the mid now, waiting for maybe to pick out this Argus. He's going to go for maybe a possible invade as well. We see Ven kind of playing that vertical jungle game here, going to be keeping that Greystone under his tier 1.
Yeah, I love Bondred helping Vend here, knowing that the 5 camp is going to be up because of their own 5 camp respawning at the same time. And also, whilst that was happening, the sequence was by his own 5 camp stopped Conte from walking in, means that Ven gets that camp free, is able to do the reset and go towards his own red side, pick up the 5 camp, pick up the 2 camp. And once he's done that, Fangtooth will have spawned. It would be 5 minutes in the game. And with the lane advantage that VennyVensManyMens has right now in the dual lane, it's definitely an opportunity for them to go for it.
Absolutely. Folks, I do want to highlight that the Richter did go for current overload, which allows his electrocute ability to give him movement speed and 30% more damage to monsters, so he can clear that much faster and then rotate over to the Fangtooth. You see him kind of making his way, going to protect this river buff on the red side as Gideon goes for the other one, which is perfect because if you can keep the mana economy of the Argus low, that particle shredder can't come online. That limits his damage capabilities. They're looking to set this one up with the vision going the way of the dawn side or the dust side here for now.
No ults from either solo laner. It is going to go rather low. Bondred and Morose are both being so low. Bondred jumping in, forcing the blink from Morose. I don't know if he would have had the damage. Look at his mana bar. He would have only had 1 more ability, but that would have been enough to proc his passive do at max true damage HP. And it could have been bad for Morose. I still don't think he needed to blink there. He would have been safe. And now, because Bondred backs first, he can push that wave into tower, take the Cyan buff afterwards, and then do his own back. He's going to give him even more advantage in this lane. And this is risky from Ven. He's going for the red camp. Morose isn't going to be nearby, but we can see Conte is walking directly towards him.
And Mayer is here to join in on the action as well, but Conte kind of just keeping him at bay. Can he get to the red buff in time? Looks like it will be, and the Rick Flash will secure it. Now Ven has to use the forward crunch to get out of dodge. Folks, we're highlighting the jungle because they are just that impactful. Some of the best players in the EU scene piloting these characters. And here's a lane we haven't discussed too much, Falcon, is the duo Penguin getting that bull rush augment so he can just kind of tank the rock to the face and not get CC'd from it. So you'd imagine he'll be taking the bullet for the president more often than not.
He's going to try to do as much as he can, plus that shield wall is going to be so strong against the likes of the Argus, likes of this Rampage and Murdoch. But the reason we haven't really been talking about that dual lane is because it's nothing's really happened over there, Philly. They just kind of push the lane back and forth, done 1 or 2 resets. They really are waiting for those level 6 power spikes, getting those ultimates online for every single player in this dual lane is going to be so impactful, especially for Sagu, who has got that cross map ultimate in Long Arbor Law. He's able to impact the side lanes, he's impacting mid lane, and if he gets maybe 1 or 2 assists using that, his gold will increase compared to like Neft.
And that will be huge. And you're looking around the map on how they're going to set him up, right? With the Rock, with the Dreadnought from Argus, even the Feast will lock somebody down long enough for that long arm the law to come through. So you can see that pick composition, come to fruition. You see the idea, what cookery they're putting forward. It's just, can they execute it? It's very tough with what the side of TI are doing. And right now, they're starting the Fangtooth.
The starting Ven is on this side of the map, but we can see that Manq has got the first rotation compared to the mid lane. Same with the dual lane. This is going to go down very quickly. I don't know if Conte has to 1k smite. It is going to hit 1k now. Ven's in.
Oh, and he gets it, the forward crunch right into the hunt, locks down the Fangtooth, but will he expend his life for it? He does expend the blink, and I think that will be all well and good to get him out of dodge. Penguin trying to lock down the ADC, and there it goes. They give it over to Neff. Who else will secure the elimination? They give up the Fangtooth for it, though. They started, they just couldn't finish it. A nice dodge there from Secret, but you got to say, that's a great move from VennyVens.
I think you take that Fangtooth for just 1 death. Yes, it is on Sagu, who, that body blocking was a bit funny. I'm not going to lie on that one. But overall, you definitely take that. You're not ever going to win a team fight against this Team Immune, who has got those ultimates. We saw the Skewer, we saw the Purge on top of it, and it just did so much damage to the front line of VennyVensManyMens. But they still got the objective. That's going to delay Team Immune. They can't get these 3 Fangtooth plus as we saw in previous games before that Prime was spawned, so they have to be careful with it. They can't get it before the Orb Prime either, so any Orb Prime fight that does happen around that 20 to 25 minute mark isn't going to be as dangerous for the side of many men's.
Absolutely. And what I was thinking about with the TI, normally they'll start an objective, wait for the other team to engage, and then they'll turn and not finish the objective. That time, though, the patience from VennyVens allowed them to then dash right in at the final moments and steal it away because they caught TI in two minds. Do we finish it? Do we turn? And with the Fangtooth so low and so squishy at this point in the game, that was the right opportunity for the Vens to strike, and so they do. Now we're going to be looking for advantage in the off lane as the Mini Prime is on the board. That's going to be a next objective these teams fight over.
And we can already see that both supports are in the mid lane. They want to make sure that if any sort of fight happens around this Mini Prime, they are set and ready. But Conte doesn't care. He's going to solo.
Oh my gosh, he whiplashes right in the Stoneforge Soul because the shock therapy silences the Greystone. The Knight of the Realm can't get the ultimate off. That is huge, and that's why you pick the Richter there. Oh no, excuse me, Falcon, it's the Countess that goes down. Oh my gosh.
I was a little bit confused there, but Royce is going to use the Stoneforge Souls. Ben is going to drop down. He is rather low. That should give Team Immune enough variety over this pit to continue. Then, I mean, if he wants to dive and die for it, he can, but it's definitely not going to be worth when there is 4 members of Team Immune in there. It is taken. Conte most likely use the Slay, and we can see that VennyVensManyMens is using their stuns to great advantage, but to only run away.
No exit frags there, and there was the play in the off lane. They got the Countess, not the Greystone. Apologies for the folks at home, but that opens up the door for that Mini Prime, and they're facilitating it on Conte, so that means they're going to be looking to press the issue here. Right now, though, they have to focus on mid lane, my friend, as the wave is crashing in.
I think they probably would have wanted it on Morose, but with Ven in the area, Team Immune is just playing it safe rather than sorry, making sure that they at least get it on a character. Conte's not exactly the type of player to just randomly die either, especially on the tankiness of this Richter. Already got the Fire Blossom, is going to get his Saphir's Mantle building towards that Tainted God, so has so much armor compared to the side to the VennyVensManyMens. But I don't know entirely if I like that. Yes, you need anti-hero against the Countess, the Crunch, and the Rampage, but when there's double AP threats from Bondrude and from Maya, I feel like you're going to need that sooner rather than later.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely an interesting choice, but I like it. I mean, he feels like he's ahead. He got the first blood. He's been facilitating. He's got a lot of assists under his belt. He feels like he will scale really well, and eventually it gets to a point where that Warden is just so dang tanky, and I don't know if they're going to have the damage on the side of VennyVens to take him down. We do see the Megacosm, though, online. Oh my gosh, that goo, the Green Beret snipes across the map and finds Moreau's unsuspecting victim. That's a huge pick for the carry.
And that's a lot of gold towards the side of Sagu as well. That's going to be the kill, not the assist. And it's going to allow Bondru to push onto this tower. You're going to have no one able to defend it. Conte, we can see in the mid lane, has to go towards that Fangtooth because that is going to be the next port of call. Saying that though, Team Immune kind of happy with that timing of death, if of anything, because Morose has respawned now. He can now immediately run towards this Fangtooth, which has been started. If there is a team fight, he will get there in time. And we compare to the side of VennyVensManyMens. Mayor's not there. Bondrude's not there. There's no steal coming through. Ven is going for it, but there's going to be no follow-up.
Yeah, that's a coordinated team play. That's what we expect from TI. Get the Fangtooth and everybody portal out the back. We've seen it time and time again. Bondrude crashed that under tower, but you would have thought that maybe he should have stuck around in the off lane, knowing Morose was going to make that rotation. Right now, a rotation to the mid lane. They're knocking up the Gideon, but he is oh so shifty. A Torsbane once again has to dodge the Argus ultimate. It's like playing dodgeball over here in the mid lane.
Dodgeball, but he is more than safe, is able to reset. However, tower might be another tail. We have got Conte nearby. Seems like Mancu is staying as well. Has got Blink, has got ult if he wants to. Conte is going to wrap around. I think that's going for the gank.
And the black hole, it's massive to keep Ven under the tower. The ether crystals, well, it actually
He's still alive.
His person in, and it's a rip flash, and there it goes. It's a double kill in the mid lane.
Mancu's on less than 100 HP. I don't know how he survived. He got the blink in, was able to use the ultimate, and it looks like that Ven was just unable to use that left punch, that uppercut, to stop him. No Dread Nova came out either, and he was just high enough to avoid the damage from Crunch. Conte coming in at the perfect time as well, able to save his mid laner, get the double kill, and save his tower as well.
I mean, this is just a testament to how ManQ is feeling right now. Blue Jay alluded to it on the desk. This guy just has exuding confidence, and that keeps you to make these kind of plays when you think maybe I should back to base. No, I'm diving in. I'm getting a double for my squad. So ManQ just on a tear right now. He's getting both of the river buffs and has the Tainted Scepter as the second item, so it's going to be a good power spike for him.
Yeah, definitely needed Tainted against the side of VennyVensManyMens. I'd imagine that most of the team is going to get it. I imagine Neft's going to get those Tainted rounds, most Tainted Blade after he's finished that Agathis of Aether, I believe the name is. Mind has gone, unfortunately, for that one. But it is going to be the normal build that Morose does go. Ven is over here, but Morose does hit level 11. I'm not entirely sure. I'm saying that. Look at the damage.
Oh my gosh, yeah, the VennyVen just punching him into oblivion. Can he get the Stone Force? So off he can. That will allow him to assault the gates. He doesn't have the blink though, but I think Morose will be fine just for now. Even Meyer made a rotation over here, but it's going to be all for naught. That allows ManQ to get Prio in the mid lane.
There's nothing else the team can just hate though on the rest of the map. They are pushing down the mid lane and the dual lane, but we can see that Sagu has this reset, is going to be able to get there in time before that tower does go down. Goes Dust Devil's second item, which is rather interesting for this Murdoch. I do kind of like it, but against the likes of VennyVensManyMens, I still think the anti-heal would have been better. That Tainted round second would have given him quite a lot of damage as well on this Murdoch. However, I mean, he's the pro player, not me. That's why I am on the desk. So we'll have to see how that goes later in the game.
Absolutely, but that's the best part of MOBAs, is that people can craft these different builds for different situations. Once again, Moro's under duress. He has no blink, he has no ultimates. He's going to do some fancy footwork onto the arc shot and take a ride to the other side of the map. Another rotation to this lane. We do see the Steel and the Warden making their way. They know the Mini Prime is next on the menu, but they're probably just going to give it up here for now, find the trade across the map.
Yeah, as soon as Morose took that teleport, that was kind of it for the side of Team Moon over here. Bonjude is going to be the one to have it given over to him, which, I mean, Countess with a mini farm I will take every single day of the week as my team, but Neft is going to have support to take down this tower. This is going to be the actual first tower of the game. 16.5 minutes in, that is a pretty crazy statistic. Overall, these towers are basically made of paper at this point. I can imagine that Bonjude is going to be able to take his rather soon, especially with the fact that Ven is lurking in the rings.
Morose
Look at this HP though.
The pressure again. This time the Stoneforge Soul just barely dodges the long arm of the Law. Bondro, though, extremely low, which causes men to make that rotation. This tower on a knife's edge as well. So much action in that offering, my friend, but it is time for the Fangtooth number 3.
A lazy pair from Bonjude. He was just backing in that alcove, and that's just going to be an easy kill for Morose. He just uses his jump, gets on top of him, and that is going to be that. And now that Ben has been lurking over here the entire time, he can't back because of Morose. Now it's going to be an easy Fangtooth for Team Immune to take, and they are going to take it for completely free. There's basically a discount because Morose has just got a double kill and a tower in the solo lane.
What do we even call that when one player gets a 2-piece? It's a brace for Morose. Oh my goodness. He is doing all the work over here, but it is Meyer to maybe get a little bit of revenge. He's going to be chasing him down. Does have the augment that will allow him to get the little extra speed boost. Morose, though, assaults the gates and gets out of dodge. This guy is on a tear. Can he dodge the obliterator? He can. My goodness, what a play.
That's perfect for Team Mean. Let your solo laner do their thing. The rest of the team's going to group up, get the objective, and that's not really anything they've done special. VennyVensManyMens is just letting that happen. Ven should have basically not been on that side of the map. Yes, you want to make sure that Bonjude is able to use that mini farm, but not to the detriment of losing that second Fangtooth, losing that out of combat movement speed. And now they have to be so careful around that 23-24 minute mark when both the Orb Prime and the Primal is up, because you cannot let Team Immune get this Primal Fangtooth, get that extra dot damage, as well as that third Fangtooth buff, because Primal still gives it. It's still going to give you that 8% increase in offensive and defensive stats.
Sure, now it's the time for Dawn to make a rotation for the offlane. Kante trying to predict the Rip-Lash there. What I will say, this is a standard playbook for the side of Team Immune, just to play patiently and then strike when the time is right. Penguin with a two-piece on the shield slam, but he might just expend his life to allow his mid laner to get out, and there it goes. The particle shredder can bent the steel, and so it does. Neft making his way into this one, allows ManQ to go over the top of the black hole. Sucks in a couple, but it's not enough damage just yet. Now Moros is making his way in. He's going to just hack and slash, turns Secret into sushi. He gets a double Stoneforge Soul under the tower. The dive is clean. Neft picks up one as well. It's a 2-for-2 trade. It's a little chaotic over here in the mid lane, but a massive shutdown goes the way of Sagu. He gets an exit kill. Still, we battle on. A good portal there to get the team out of dodge.
Long Law is going to come through, hits Neff, but not going to have enough damage to take him out. Multiple members of Team Immune, are low. VennyVensManyMens are basically full HP. Bondrewd and Ven pushing down the mid lane. Isagu has gone off to side of duo. Bondrewd snipes Conte behind the tower with the Eventide. That was lazy from the side of Conte there. Should have seen that one coming. And I mean, that's a great zone for VennyVensManyMens. That team fight was so good. They pulled back as far as they needed to into that tier 2 tower, let Team Immune overstep, let Moros tank that tower for as long as they needed into that Stoneforge Soul, and then Sagi's just going to place a trap under him, rooting him in that tower. He has no armor still, and that's going to be an easy set of kills, and just continue rusting down afterwards means that they get 2 towers in that play as well.
For sure. I mean, yeah, one misstep, that is how this game is played. You go out of line for one instant and you can lose some structures, objectives, etc. Right, 2-tier towers going down. That creates a little bit more space on the map for VennyVens to make rotations to these next objectives. We see the big prime is now set up. These teams are going to be clearing the vision, trying to gain the advantage for this next fight.
Neither team is going to go for it, though. It's just so dangerous, especially when you don't know where the enemy jungler is. We can see that Ven is on the 2 camp. We can see that Bondrewd is 1-0 from duo, and that's going to be enough for Team Immune to go for it. They have started it. We have got multiple members of VennyVensManyMens coming over. The damage is there, but it's not going to be fast enough for them to take it.
But this is their playbook, my friend, right? They'll start, wait for the other team to show, and then they go ManQ once again with the black hole. He immediately gets stunned right out of it, but it's a good shield slam right in this tiny corridor. It's about where is Neff, though? He just isn't in this engagement to pop the shots, and that's where the damage is coming from. The long arm of the law, though, does cut through the battlefield. The skewer to block down a couple, but it is going to be Morose who falls down first. It's a turn of the tides here for VennyVens. It's a double kill for Bondrewd. He finds Neff in the backline. Penguin and ManQ trying to escape. They take the blast cone, but they lose 3 in the pit.
VennyVens is just going to say thank you for the team fight. We're going to take the Orb Prime now. We are going to lose no one. There is a ward there, but there is nothing Team Immune can do. No black hole, no shield slam. This is going to be an easy pickup. And now look at the cooldown timers. That Primal Fountain is now up as well, so they can now reset, go over to that Primal, start that up immediately. And by the time they do that, Team Immune is only going to be respawning. Going back to that team fight, though, it's just, again, Team Immune. Yes, you sold out the Orb Prime. Yes, you bait VennyVensManyMens into a choke point. But VennyVensManyMens knew what was happening. They just waited out the black hole, knew that you weren't still bursting down the Orb Prime. And then Ven got a lovely 2-man knock-up onto the front line of Team Immune. Set up the rest of his team to just shoot down like a fish in a barrel for the rest of the team, and picked up 3 people as well as the Orb Prime.
Massive counterplay, and that's exactly what you need to do. You have recognized the game plan of Team Immune, then you realize how to counter it, right? They did it just there, but I gotta say, Neft, he just wasn't involved in that fight. Maybe a little bit scared of how do I navigate this into this tight corridor. That crossbow doesn't shoot very far, so you have to be kind of up close and personal to get that damage in. All of those ultimates expended in that fight. No shield slam now comes down online, and he has to use it to get away. Unfortunately, locks down one. It will be the skewer to keep Bondrewd in place just for now. ManQ goes over the top once again. The black hole putting in so much damage. Secret in a load of trouble, and there it is. Neff now getting involved, finds himself a double kill. Ven might not be long for this world as well, ladies and gentlemen. He has to use the forward crunch to get away, but it's a triple kill for the side of the Kira.
And this is why we never discount Team Immune in any game they ever play in. Neft just shooting from the back line. He wasn't a threat in the last one. He definitely was in that team fight. You can see again, just I don't know why Bonjour was there, just trying to dissuade the backside. But Penguin immediately slammed down on him. Manq got a lovely black hole around the corner, meant that he couldn't be dissuaded. Neft ulting, trying to follow up as much as we could, get some nice double kill into that triple kill off screen. Now that's going to be the primal given over to Team Immune. Yes, VennyVen still has a few members with this all prime, but it's not going to last for too much longer at this point in time. This is going to be the moment Team Immune wants to try and push down. There's still 3 tier 2 towers for them to take, and realistically at this stage in the game, VennyVensManyMens cannot just walk up and win a team fight.
They have to wait this primal blaze out. So go to your jungle, clear what you can. The waves are pushing into you. Get some of that farm online. But it's also 3 Fang Teeth, 4 TI. They have the hat trick there in terms of dinosaur bones, so they get that extra boost to offense and defensive stats. So even more of a threat now is Neft and the crew. They're going to be looking to put the hurt on the pressure now in the mid lane.
I mean, as a 4-1 split, it's kind of going to be your bog standard push in for any MOBA team. Just gonna have Rose in the backside, making sure that he can at least create a threat to allow the rest of his team to push in. And now that's the tier 2 down in the mid lane. That's the tier 2 going to be down relatively soon in the solo. I don't think Bonjour is going to be much for this world if he continues staying where he is currently. And now the rest of the Team Immune is just waiting. This is just great for them, great patience. They know they can just let Rose continue pushing up, get to the same point they are, and then have 2 minion waves pushing at the same time, force VennyVensManyMens to split the attention, make sure that they have to choose where they want to defend. It's not perfect, but it is going to create that issue.
And VennyVens, they know they have structures to give, right? Those T2s, just buying them time to wait out this primal flame. Eventually it will go down. They'll be able to strike off of that. They just can't lose anything more. So it's about clearing the waves, poking as best you can, especially with the particle shredder. This Argus is going to be paramount to the defense. Fortunately for the side of Dusk, they do have the duo lane. It's kind of in their favor, pushing in pretty nicely.
Such a good shield
the
wall.
siege is on here for Alpha.
That shield wall just completely nullified Maya's ultimate there. Whiplash followed, gets hit onto Bonjour. Penguin's going to rush in.
And then the skewer just immediately canceled. It is the feast on the Neft, but he stands tall against it. That just tickled him. Mo Rose dives into the back line of Stoneforge Soul, expended here, but it's really just to keep the attention on him, so it allows Neft to do the work. And that fancy feat from a Rose once again dodges the laser beam. Looked like a Matrix move from him, and now the portal for the team to get out of dodge. They take the inhib and lose nobody, Falcon.
Can someone in chat tell me how many times Team Immune has had team members survive on sub 100 HP? Because I swear every single team fight there's at least one person just walking away from a Synaptic Obliterator, from Long Arbor Law, and just saying, goodbye, I'm gonna reset, go back to base, I'm gonna have some items now, thank you. It's just ridiculous at this point in time. Now that's the mid inhibitor down. It's not the worst in the world for VennyVensManyMens. They still have 2, and the mid is probably the least problematic inhibitor for them to lose, because they can still respond to either side of the map if needs be. From someone defending that, they can go to the AWP Prime, they can go to the Primal Fangtooth. It's roughly the same sort of distance, same sort of time, and that's going to at least give them a chance to contest this objective, mostly around the AWP Prime.
For sure. And as we pan through all of the different heroes on the side of Dawn, everybody's got something tainted, and they're gonna have to take showers after this. I'm seeing tainted bastions, tainted guards, tainted rounds. It's Moro's the only one, but he's got so much magic resist. I mean, that is why this Countess is just tickling people, just not doing a lot of damage. Manq, though, expending the black hole. It was just a bait and switch. Bond Druid gets chunked immediately, and there it is, the Event Horizon Augment just doing that max HP damage. The offlaner goes down.
I'm not entirely sure how Bonjour got caught there, but that is a big death timer for the side of VennyVensManyMens. That is going to be a lot of damage from that team that is now going to be missing. They still have to really go for this. I don't think they can just give this up. It is at 10k. Ven is going to be in position. Penguin going to try and keep him out.
And so he does the shield slap right to his face, and there's the tried and true TI maneuver. We start it, but we won't finish it, so we can take your lives. Secret, though, he's splitting off the team. He's keeping the squads separated. It will be Moros who has to jump out. Can he dodge this one? No, that time Segu connects. That's a good skewer, though, to keep a couple folks in place. The Epoch has to come through for the side of Meyer. He expends the blink as well. This is a beautiful view from our observer, Tedium, and it will be TI to secure the prime. Can they get any exit frags for it? So far, they've lost 2. It's a massive shutdown. We're looking at the minions as well. The core is blaring in the ears of the side of the Dusk. They have to get these eliminations and return to base as soon as possible.
It's not going to go down just yet. They still have respets. Bondude has just respawned. Team Immune loses 3 members in that team fight. It's just so much damage was coming out of the Orb Prime. It was aggroed that entire team fight. It lasted, what, 20 seconds? That was multiple missiles sent out and meant that they were taking so much more damage than they needed to. Yes, they got it at the end, but losing 3 members for the Primal Fangtooth that has now spawned. Bondude able to defend the mid lane, get that wave pushed out. They're going to have a 5v2 here, and I'm not the greatest mathematician, Philly. I kind of failed my maths, I'm going to be honest. I don't think those numbers work very well in Team Immune's favor.
Yeah, and Conte on the Richter, not the best jungler to kind of dive in. So I think they're going to give this one up, and just like we know in predecessor, it's the teeter-totter. Goes one way, now it's the other. The momentum going for the way of VennyVensManyMens. Falcon, there hasn't been too many eliminations. It's very close here, only 15-11. That is just how tight this game has been.
Yeah, we're used to definitely having a one kill a minute, that sort of territory, and we are below that at the moment. Only 3k difference at this stage of the game. Multiple carries are reaching that 5th, 6th item mark. We can see that Neft is at 5.5 items building. What I can imagine is either going to be Determinus or the Sky Splitter from that that lifesteal item there. I imagine probably the Sky Splitter. There is a lot of HP on the side of VennyVensManyMens. It would make the most sense in terms of just the straight up damage. So I was talking about damage. Look at Bondude's build. No sort of bruiser items whatsoever. He has just gone for that full assassination attempt, try and kill the backline as much as he can. And it's not been the most successful. 3-6-3 hasn't got a great scoreline as this Countess, but you have to always be careful of him.
For sure, but it's who's his target. You're gonna go on the Richter, you're gonna go on the Steel, you're gonna go on the Mage. He's gonna just jump away from you. I mean, he's got a really tough time into this one to lock somebody down for his team. That's why you saw him getting picked out in the mid lane in that previous engagement, because he was looking for something. He's trying to press the issue, but it's really difficult to do so. Now the teams, they know they're nearing their full build capacity, so they're going to be farming as quickly as possible to get ready for these next neutral fights.
I don't really like this. VennyVensManyMens has that primal burn on them. It's 30 minutes into the game. It's going to do so much damage, and they're kind of doing absolutely nothing with it, is putting it nicely. There's been no pushes towards these tier 2 towers. There's been no real pick attempts at all for the side of VennyVensManyMens. Team Immune has just been clearing those waves, pushing it back towards them, and I mean, we haven't had any action for what, a good 2 minutes at this point in time. That primal buff is going to go very, very quickly. Might have already gone from some people. We can see that half the time has already been lost from that primal. Or prime is going to probably be the next sort of play from both of these teams, because I mean, it's a bit boring at this point. This is just classic EU Philly, but again, they just are such a awkward position. They can't lose a member.
For sure, it's dire straight. Those death timers are so long. You lose one person, you're down for a minute and 10 20 seconds. That could spell disaster, and these teams are vying for a grand final spot, Falcon. That is guaranteed money should you win this set. So neither team wanting to make a mistake. They're playing the disciplined game. Yes, it's slow. Sometimes MOBAs are like that. Yeah, we get this is like an arena brawler sometimes, but it is a MOBA at its heart. So you have to be tactical. You have to be aware. Wait for your timings. Wait for your move to come through.
A big thing I want to see on the map right now, I know we're having a small skirmish. Look at Bonzi. He's got that minion wave up to that tier 2. is going to be shown on the map here. This is kind of Team Immune's best chance to do something if they so wish. That tier 2 is going to finally go in the Dura lane, and there's going to be no response once again for the side of Team Immune. Don't want to step up to the rest of the team, don't want to be hit by a Boulder Rock, by a Dreadnought, that pick composition that we talked back 33 minutes ago, 35 minutes ago from the desk, is such a threat. They can't just walk into that darkness. And a good point of this is look at the wards. There is 3 wards on the side of VennyVensManyMens around that mid lane. There's only 1 on this All Prime side from the side of Team Immune.
They have no vision. So the dust side, they could go for this. They could start it up. You can see even Secret plopping another ward down there as well. The vision game going their way. They've got 3 on both sides. They're definitely going to be looking to take these fights, but they need that vision, my friend, to get the picks because they know their team fight isn't as strong. So if it's a 5v5 ultimate clash, they're going to come out worse for wear. It's just about where these picks come through. I did like that rotation from Bondra to take that tier 2 tower. It's like in soccer. You kind of pass the ball around to rotate and maneuver the shape to then create a gap somewhere where a player can strike. And that's what happened. Putting pressure on the other lanes allowed Bondra to push that wave in, take that 2. That's a little bit of extra gold, a little bit of more map pressure on their side.
Really, I just want to point one thing out. This is the PCC EU tournament. We call it football here. But anyway, back onto the game. I mean, you can see that both of the carries, Neft and Sagu, have finished those last items. It is going to be terminus for Neft. Having that extra steal just wants to survive that burst potential from the side of VennyVensManyMens, especially if he does get picked from the likes of Bondud, might have a chance of survival. And with both Primal and Orb, it's going to be a question of what does each team want to go for? Team Immune has got those 3 Fangtooth buffs already. They could go for the Orb if they wanted to get that push. But also at the same time, Primal, again, it's just the better team fighting ability, the better team fighting buff. And it's surprising to me that both teams are just gravitating towards this right side of the map.
I wonder if they're going to go for a trade. Maybe at one point they're like, okay, we're going to give up the Prime here. Let's rotate to Primal and take that instead and kind of see if we can do like a DPS check, like race it down, maybe get over here, find some exit frags on the other side. It's really also about how the teams want to engage. They're looking for Conte on the Dawn side to pull somebody in, get them out of position with that repositioning tool, and then take them down. But you got to hit that. And when the other team is wary that that is what you're trying to engage with, they're going to play it.
It's just, what do you do as a team? Like, this is so tense. I know, again, we have kind of been waffling for the last 5 minutes or so because of just everyone, basically a Mexican standoff at this point, let's be honest. But it just shows how much pressure there is on these teams. The first person to make a mistake is going to be the team that is going to lose. We can see that 4 members of VennyVens is creeping around this Orb Prime. They haven't started it just yet. They just want to create that threat. Morose has now shown himself on left. It is a 4v4 in this area if either team wants to go for it.
And Morose, he is going to be worse for it. Has to expend that Stone Force Soul on that side, but it's a massive 4v4 team fight. All of the ultimates in the world being expended. ManQ, though, just putting in a ton of damage with the Black Hole, but it is Neff and the crossbow that is skewering folks here. They find the support. Morose is able to survive in the off lane, which is big. He's there to protect his inhib. More importantly, the Countess wasn't there to pick on Neff in the back line. He was able to do some damage. 60 seconds now. The Rampage will be on the gray screen.
But it's only as a support. Conte went down under half HP. He could not stay to start this Orb Prime. And Bondru disappeared at the start of that team fight as well. They couldn't risk the Countess coming in from the back, making sure that they would get the kills. He's still missing, but they're just going to go for it. Bondru is going for the split push. We can see that VennyVensManyMens is running towards that Prime where they do not want anything to do with Orb Prime, but it's going down so fast. Bondru's going to take the inheritor on the left side. I don't know, he should be pushing. He needs to back up. He needs to go and help this Prime. It's going down to 10k, but Immune are coming.
This is huge. This is a crazy rotation. Exactly what we were looking for. Can they secure it? They can. We're tied up 3 to 3 on Banshee, but it's about Penguin getting a exit frag of the shield slam. Massive a shutdown there for Neff on his opposite number. The skewer is there. It's about finding a little bit more. They need to find these kills. Neff hasn't even used the purge. He's shadow glides out of there. He gets a double kill. No. Gets his life expended as well. It's a 2-for-2 trade thus far. The Rip Flash to lock down the Countess, but they are
Conte's gonna
feeling
die.
emboldened now. The Primal Blaze upon them, chunking through. Morose, who expends the Stone Force
Get
Soul.
out
Secret
now.
now has respawned. He's back in there. The Rock could connect. Morose
Yeah.
has to be careful. He's been good so far. Mayor, though, kills the Penguin. That bird's wings are clipped. Oh, my friend, it has been a crazy bedlam over here outside the pit. All the while, the Dusk Side creeps are marching towards the core.
Morose needs to get back to those minions. Mayor is going to be running down as fast as he can. This wave is not going to kill the core, but with this Argus, there is a chance Secret is going to be here as well. But they're backing off. They don't want to risk it. They don't want to lose any more members. They want to make sure that it is nice and clean. They need to defend right side as well. Look at the size of that minion wave on the right inhibitor. And the start of this team fight looked so bad. It was a 3-man ultimate from Penguin, but Bonju caught Mancu in the back. He caught Neff, and only due to the fact that Morose's Stoneforce Soul was not able to be dodged was he finally taken down. We're about 40 minutes into this game, Billy. Both teams, once again, are basically in a stalemate. Full items on their mages, full items on their ADCs, 3 Fangtooths apiece. The only difference is that Team Moon hasn't got an inhibitor at the moment.
This is as close as it gets, ladies and gentlemen. It cannot be understated. The difference is when the composition works to how it's intended. If they get a pick on the side of VennyVens, they can win it. If they get a good engage off a Penguin or Riplash, then it's the Dawn side that wins it. So it's really about the execution at this point. Who cares about the items or anything like that? If you get the proper engagement, you can win the fight. Look at that, only 3,000 gold separating these squads.
I mean, it's just every single person basically at full build outside of the support. Conte is at 5.5 items, is going to build into even more tenacity. I'm not entirely sure what he is going with that, but just trying to make sure that he is going to be not as stunned as much as possible. So at this point in time, money does not matter. It is nothing about the gold. It's nothing about the gold difference. It's nothing really about the experience either. Secret is level 17, and so is Penguin. So everyone is at the same experience. And two Stowe Batter, they both have 3 apiece. They both have the 8% offensive and defensive stats. So it is just down to what do you have? What execution can you do from your compositions? Is it going to be that pick from VennyVensManyMens that gets the team fight started? Is it going to be just the coordination from Team Moon with these ultimates that decimates the side of VennyVensManyMens? I don't know. I'm freaking out, Vinny, at this point in time.
And so are the fans. If I was sitting, I'd be on the edge of my seat, folks. This is such a contentious match. Could go, if we go to 60 minutes, Falcon, I don't even know. I don't think it will, but
3 games in 60 minutes.
I don't think I've ever seen a predecessor game go that long. Still, these teams,
we'll find out.
At least for the Dawn side, they're going to wait for that inhib to come back online. So they're not going to push up, not going to do anything drastic. You can see a lot of defensive wards in their jungle so they can farm those camps safely when they come up, but really it's about waiting for that inhib so that the core stays safe.
So the farm doesn't matter. They've got 4 items. What are they? Rose is sitting on 4,000 gold. What do you do with 4,500 gold, 4,000 gold? Elixirs are only costing 500. They're just farming for the sake of farming at this point in time. I mean, Rose could change his entire build if he wanted to. It wouldn't matter. Primal is going to be the first objective up compared to the 2. Orb is going to be a bit later on. We can see that the wards are not really there from either side yet. Team Moon has one on their side of the map, but really, it's going to be now. We can see that Penguin is walking towards it. Secret is also going to check it out. Bonjude might get caught.
The Icecorn Talons do go down the feast on the Conte, but he was just waiting for it for the skewer. The Countess, though, so dang slippery. He's able to shadow slip off of that one, but it was all just a farce to allow the Primal Fang to be burned by his team. A fantastic bait and switch for the side of VennyVensManyMens. Now they are buffed in flame. It's about who can they take down as they are emboldened now.
Why was Conte on the right side of the map? They knew the Primal Fangtooth was going to be the main focus. Penguin was there, warding, and as soon as Conte showed his face, they knew that there was no opposition from Team Immune. VennyVensManyMens instantly started up, instantly took it down, and now Team Immune, if they want to have a chance in these team fights, they need to make sure this All Prime is not given over. They cannot allow this VennyVen squad to have a double buff at the same time 43 minutes into the game.
I am shaking, my knees are wobbling, and it will be the Prime. It's a double bubble buff for the Dusk side now. They are going to be taking the issue. They're going to dive right in. It's secret. It's a double shield slam over the top, and it's Neff with the purge. It's a massive shutdown there for the carry. He wants more blood, though. The Demon Hunter looking for more, but a patient and disciplined play for the Dawn side. They get one. They're backing off. They know they have to play a little bit of defense.
VennyVens, they're walking in. They're going to try and catch Morose. He has got Blink. He hasn't got the ultimate available. He's going to try and survive as long as he can. The rest of Team Moon is coming in. Hits the Blink. Is knocked up at the same time. Maya has not got the ultimate to try and pick it up. There is still a tier 2 tower in this game. I know this is a bit out of thing. How is there a tier 2 tower still in the game, Philly?
And it's like, I mean, that's just a time sink at this point. They don't need the gold like you stated, right? There's no buybacks. Tonics are only 500, but yeah, that is going to be massive further down the line. I think that just states how well Morose did in that lane and how much pressure Bondro has been putting in the other lanes, like this duo lane here. The inhib, though, folks, is now back online. So it could be the time for the Dawn to strike as soon as the double bubble wears off.
Then going for Mancu's use of the torn space back to his tower isn't going to be caught there. I do actually kind of like Mancu's build. He has got a lot of HP. With that World Breaker, gives him a decent amount of magical power in exchange as well. The Dreambinder is slightly interesting. It has got that slow on his cosmic abilities, but overall, again, he doesn't have as much damage as the side of Maya. It is mainly left doing the damage in these team fights, so that could be the difference at this point in time. Again, VennyVensManyMens, they're just wasting these buffs. They haven't done anything. They haven't started seizing these inhibitors. They haven't started taking down this tier 2. You see from the side of Ven that the Primal Fangtooth buff has already gone. They've only got the All Prime. Those enhanced minions are going to do a lot of damage to these objectives, but it doesn't matter if they don't push them.
Well, Bondruid, he's over there on that offlane side. He heard you in his headset there, my friend. Was like, all right, this one, it's 45 minutes in. Time for you to go. Take a dirt nap there, tower. And so it does. Looks like we have a 4-1 split this time for the Dusk side. Let's see if they can claim an inhibitor. I'm seeing the blue check marks all lit up for either of these squads. It could be the go button. It's just about how do we engage. Do we get a pick for the Dusk? Do we get an ultimate combination for the Dawn? It's contentious here. The Rock, the Dreadnova hits, but they're under their inhib. You can't dive it. Doesn't even matter. We'll be looking at Conte here to get a nice Riplash. If he does get one, it could be over for the fight.
Penguin just going to use that shield wall as much as he can to block the damage onto the inhibitor. Conte going to miss the Riplash once again. The damage is now starting to come on. Those minions are staying alive for a little while, but VennyVens are playing so safe. They're not walking up. They don't want to get hit by that skewer, get hit by that shield slam. The Steel Victor combo is such a deterrent onto this VennyVens team. It is... I've never seen a game like this where they are so scared of walking up with All Prime onto an inhibitor 46 minutes into the game.
There's a lot on the line here, but Ven, the captain of the squad, leading the charge to take down that deactive inhibitor, causing the rotation there, which then opens up this mid inhib, which is extremely low. You feel like well, just maybe a couple more hits there, Falcon, it could have been taken down. The chase on just a little bit here, but you got to say that defense from TI, perfect. They knew when you the other team is buffed in purple, those creeps are empowered. You kill the creeps first. Use all your wave clear abilities, get those creeps away from your tower, and then what engage tool does VennyVens have to go under the inhib? They just couldn't do it.
No, it's so smart from the side of Team Immune. And as soon as that All Prime ran off, VennyVens had to retreat. They at least got the inhibitor that was taken down earlier down again. It was the easiest one to take. They could just walk up to it. They don't need the minions there at all. And now Primal has spawned. They're starting out with 4 people. Bondruid is going to try and play offense onto Morose. It is down to 9k. We have multiple members of Team Immune here. Conte's in the pit.
Oh my gosh, this would be the most miraculous steal, but it's Mancu who sucks in 3 and it allows Conte to get the hunt off. It's a huge play from the Richter, but now can they finish the fight? Of course, it's Neff finding his opposite number immediately. Bondra, though, is at the core, ladies and gentlemen, just keeping Morose there. Out of the back they go. Nice torn space to keep the team alive.
That's all three
Moro's
inhibs.
doing his dangest, the Knight of the Realm protecting the castle. So far, though, it is now a battle
Mayor?
of the mid laners. It is Mayor who is just
He's got one.
destroying ManQ. It's Somnactic Obliterator is huge. It does find him. Oh my goodness, what a fight. It still continues here. The Riplash doesn't get it. Penguin Bull rushes in right on top of Mayor. He has to use the Epoch to keep himself safe.
Ben's getting out.
Ben says, see you later. I'm sacrificing you. And who else gets the final blow? It is Neft. He gets a triple when all is said and done. The core, though,
Minions!
is going down.
It's going down. There's so many minions. Conte is going to be back in time. He has that augment that does more damage. He has the primal. That is going to be safe. But look at how many minions are pushing into this core. Bonju did such a good job of taking down all three inhibitors. All prime has been started. Conte is not there. Ven is still alive. VennyVens has the hunt. Whilst Team Immune, even with 4 people alive, can't risk it. They can't go for it. The core.
I think this game is done. There's nothing that Conte can do, even with the augment, and it is the creeps, the Winions, who take it all, and it is VennyVensManyMens in a 50-minute banger to take game 1.
That's how this ends? Minions is how it ends? What? What a game. What an absolute insanity of a game. There is no way in God's green earth I could ever begin to break that game down, because there was absolutely anything and everything you would want from a predecessor game. And Team Immune, they just did not respect the minions. Conte is a full tank Richter. He has got no damage at that stage of the game. You are not able to defend a core against 20 minions as a Richter. That one call, nothing in the team fight, nothing to do with macro. It was just not having more people to defend the core against minions.
And that's all it takes, especially 50 minutes in, my friend. You lose focus for 1 second, and that's all that it takes for the core to shatter and you to lose the game. You think that's an interesting call, but maybe they're like, I'm done. It's over. Let's just go to game 2, please, and reset and try something else. My friend, what an absolute match that was. Fortunately, it's a best of 3, so we have at least one more. I'm going to toss it back to the desk to even try to begin to break that one down.
Good luck.
Thank you, Philly and Falcon. I'm glad you guys had to talk first, because it gave me a second to collect myself. Pred obsessors are